Welcome to r/slash Prorevenge, where OP gets revenge using Japanese porn. I work at a big ad agency with large companies as our clients. We expect to work in partnership with our clients. We fire clients that treat us poorly. Usually, we treat each other with respect. Our biggest client has 5 different teams we work with, and one of them was led by a baseball dad. Baseball dad was the type of necklace marshmallow who gets wasted at his kid's baseball game and starts heckling the other kids. Just a boorish butthole. He never approved any of our work, putting out awful stuff that his internal team made, even though he is literally paying us millions of dollars to make ads for him. His product was struggling to sell, and he blamed us, even though we were killing it with the other 4 teams. He didn't know this, which comes back to bite him later. However, none of this is why we needed revenge. I don't give a flip if a client wants to fail. I collect my paycheck regardless. However, he crossed several lines. 1. He was extremely sexist. He used to call my female coworkers sweetheart in the most condescending voice, comment on their clothes and bodies, and wink and smirk at me while they were talking because we're both men, I guess. These women are highly accomplished, serious people, and they are like family to me. Huge misplay on his part. 2. Baseball dad was abusive to us. He would constantly interrupt us, tell us to shut up, call us vendors, and remind us that he could fire us at any time. 3. Baseball dad would lie. He would tell his boss, actual nice guy but too busy to check closely, that we missed deadlines or forgot deliverables because he never checked his email. We would then have to awkwardly struggle to prove baseball dad wrong without calling him a liar so we could keep the business. He never owned up to anything he said to us on the phone. 4. The final straw took place on a call between baseball dad and one of my project managers. I saw her run out of the room crying. She told me baseball dad said to her in a one-on-one call that she should worry less about budgets and more about wearing that nice top she wore at our last presentation. Gross. Revenge time. I told my cool boss that our team had had enough of baseball dad. We were at our wits' end with his attitude. Several of my coworkers were looking for new jobs. It's hard to hire good people, so my boss asked me to give her a day to figure this out. She wanted to lose baseball dad without the entire business. The next day, she showed up with our IT guy who set up voice recording on our conference line. It's illegal to record people without consent in my state, but baseball dad was late to every call. Too bad, because if he ever had showed up on time, he would have heard the new message kicking off every call. This call is being recorded. His team heard it and had no problem with it. I suspect they hated him too. For the next 2 weeks, we recorded everything. Every word of it. One of my audio engineers made a supercut of every terrible thing baseball dad said. Every sweetheart, shut up, no one cares what you think. My project manager even baited him into repeating what he said about her clothes on a budget call. This time, he literally said, "You're much better at flirting than budget, sweetheart. That's why I like you." The supercut sounded insane when played all together. It was an incredible piece of evidence. We sent it to his boss and his vice president and threatened to walk away from the work 2 weeks before product launch if baseball dad wasn't disciplined. They immediately apologized and begged us not to leave. They said it would be handled by Monday. My one sweet project manager he had been so gross to got the best part of the revenge. She anonymously sent the supercut to his wife using the email address she had posted on LinkedIn. I don't know what became of that, but I imagine it wasn't good. On Monday, baseball dad wasn't on the call. My boss snooped and found out that he had a few complaints prior and got immediately fired after we sent it through. He didn't see vendors as people, so he was shocked that his words towards us counted against his 3-strike policy. Apparently, he melted down completely as he was being fired. He said it was all because we were incompetent, but the other 4 team leads had all put in their numbers and said that it wasn't on our end. Their products were slaying. Wish I could have seen it. I imagine he came home to a very angry wife as well. We are all hitting the bar tonight in his honor. F you, baseball dad. OP, if you're out there anywhere, I will gladly pay you cold, hard cash for a copy of that audio. And to everyone else, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Because if OP gets back to me, you're definitely going to want to be around to hear that footage. So to begin this story, I have to explain. I'm a college student in Portugal, so sorry if my English isn't 100%. I was born and raised in Azores. Please tell me in the comments if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Some little islands in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. In order to pursue college, I had to move to the mainland. For this, I had to rent an apartment. It's a good apartment. 3 rooms, 2 bathrooms, a living room and a kitchen, and it's in a quiet neighborhood, so all good. This was until they started to do construction work in the apartment above. This construction work is made by a TV show called Cuerdo Mude a Casa, that literally translates to Honey, I Changed the House. It's quite famous here. They remodeled the entire house, replacing everything in it with new furniture, new floor, you get it. So they make a lot of noise. I'm not the party kind of guy, and I'm quite a calm and peaceful guy that likes to stay home, have some friends here, drink a bit, play some games, etc. And also, I do a lot of my college work at night in the apartment. I spend most of the day in class. So to explain this, Portugal has a law that you can make noise from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Most of my classes start around 11 to 12 p.m., which works great for me since I go to sleep around 4 a.m. due to all the work I have to do and a little plus time for myself. They started drilling the floor at around 8 a.m. every single day. Me and my housemate were shocked by the amount of noise they were doing. We let it pass since they shouldn't take more than a week to replace the floor. I make that assumption because me and my dad did it once to our house back in the island. But no, that noise lasted for the entire time they were there. I got a bit upset since I couldn't sleep, but I also couldn't leave the college work undone. So I decided to try and talk with them. I went to the upstairs apartment and knocked. Then came this really fat and short guy looking at me like I wasn't even there. And the talk went like this. Hi, I'm from the apartment below. Hey, what do you want? I was gonna ask if you guys could start the drilling at around 10 a.m. I'm a college student and I do most of my work at night. Sometime I only get to sleep at morning. Is that possible? Nah, we have a job to do. You should go to sleep earlier if you want to sleep. He closes the door. I was pissed, but remained calm. After all, it kinda is my fault if I go to bed at that time. Some time goes by and the noise continues. I get grumpier and grumpier. I call the customer service of the show. They said politely that there is nothing they can do about it since it's in the legal rights. I should talk with the guys in the apartment so we can come to a conclusion. Weeks go by. I'm wondering, that freaking apartment is the same size as mine. How the freak are they taking so long? Until a glorious morning, I wake up, normal routine. I go to the bathroom to take a shower. When I turn on the light, what do I see? My bathroom full of clay. Everything completely dirty. Rocks everywhere and a freaking hole right on top of the freaking toilet. I'm furious. My housemate arrives home that morning. He is not a calm person in this situation as I tell him all about this. We both go to the upper apartment. I convinced him to let me talk and he agrees. I knock on the door. To my surprise, the same fat guy, but this time he was looking at me. You guys opened a hole in my bathroom. He interrupts. Yeah, we know. We already covered our part. Okay, but what about ours? Can't you guys fix it? I mean, you are men. Can't you fix the house? My friend is furious, but I calmly put my hand on him and keep talking. No way. You broke it. You're gonna fix it unless we have to call the landlord and sue your show for this. Okay, we will fix it. No need to get all formal. We came back to the house. We could hear them making fun of us because of the hole. My friend is furious, but I'm calm because I already thought of a way to get back at them. Couple of days go by when they finally decided to fix the hole. 2 nice guys came down and fixed it, said they were sorry and everything. We chatted, they were cool, but my revenge was already planned. Sorry dudes. Me and my friend both have JBL speakers, the good ones that can really play loud. This is where it begins. Every day I started to go to bed early now so I can be up at 8 a.m. First, I take a shower and set up for college. Then I plug both of my speakers to my laptop, search for Japanese porn. You know, cause Japanese girls scream like heck in a high-pitched voice. Leave the volume up at maximum and let it play in a loop until I get home around 6 p.m. Oh, my amusement was speechless. My housemate agreed with this since we both started to leave the apartment earlier. Until one day we heard a knock on our door. It was the fat guy. "Hey, I don't know what you're doing, but it has to stop. We are recording today and we can't have those weird noises in the background." They record the episodes in the house so they can authenticate the sound in the house and everything. They could easily use a studio for the sound, but they are really cheap on saving money. Nah, since you are in the legal right to make noise from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., I am too. I can make all the noise I want in that period of time. "That will really hurt the show, and you know that people love this show. Probably your mother watches it and loves it." Maybe, but she knows how things are around here, so she really doesn't mind. I don't really mind, and the landlord doesn't mind. Can't you fix it yourself? The fat guy goes mad, starts stomping the ground as he turns around and leaves. This continues. I see the camera crew arriving from my window. They enter the apartment, knock on my door. I didn't even answer. Just some loud, lewd noises all day. This goes for 3 days straight with the camera crew, but one day they never tried again. I think the episode was canceled due to the noise. The funniest part is that they make the construction free for people. The only revenue they gained is from the viewership of the episodes. It puts a smile on my face when I know that they just wasted a budget for nothing. Ah, sweet revenge. I use the exact same strategy. So if you ever come by my place and you hear loud Japanese porn playing 24/7, it's obviously because I'm getting back at a TV show. Background. Me and my ex had been together just about a year and had decided to move in together for the most recent semester of university when we began to have a lot of fights and were on rocky terms for a little while. In this time, she would take advantage of my insecurities and kindness just so she would get more attention while not giving any back to me. Most of our conversations at this point were apologetic or were trying to fix these problems, or at least I thought. Whenever I tried to talk to her in person, she would get hyper defensive and too emotional to deal with the facts that I was telling her. Thus, she would leave and message me over Discord or Snapchat saying these horrible things to me only meant to tear me down, adding in a few, "Maybe we should break up," for good measure. One night, I had enough and said that it would be best to take a break and try to figure out from a third-person perspective what was wrong in our relationship. She took this as breaking up. Not 2 days later, she had brought someone else over to our apartment to hug passionately. This decimated me, leading me to have a mental and emotional breakdown while they were having sex in the other room. I had mutual friends get me out of our place for the night where I explained our situation to them. They hated her for what she had done to me, and all of them cut contact with her right on the spot, which I later found out was a major hit to her ego. But that's not even the best part. Then the guy she banged came to me and apologized for what happened. He explained he felt bad for what he did and that he was told we had been separate for 2 weeks and was doing that the whole time, and that her wanting to bang him was the reason for her last breakup before me. And he came to tell me because she's now going to bang his friends. Of course, rage ensues, but for some reason not towards him. But a plan did pop into my head. College student apartments, at least around here, all sign in mid-February, and I took my chance. I gathered a group of 4 of her once friends and we all signed the lease together, kicking her out of the apartment entirely. She has until the end of the month to find somewhere else to live. So I got out of this toxic relationship with all her friends and I kicked her out of her own apartment. So I hope that hot dog tasted nice is all from my last post about 2 weeks ago. After getting her off the lease, she tried to get a replacement for the time she still had there, subleasing for her room in the apartment, which is strictly not allowed in the contract we signed at the beginning of last year. By this point, she had gone full psycho, threatening people in our apartment, including herself, to the point where a roommate called for a wellness check on her, mentally abusing the other roommates, and all around was horrible. So I went to the landlady to get some info for what I or she could do next, where I got some information about what she had to do to get out of the apartment and away from what she had done to me. So I leave these papers saying that she legally can't sublease and can suffer legal consequences if she does. She loses it completely. She begins to yell at me for intruding in her life and ruining everything, even though she was the one who did it herself. This escalates to her yelling at me about an inch from my face, to which I stand up to get her away from me, and she strikes me. She hits me in the face with so much anger. And that was the last straw. I built up the courage and went to the police and filed a report with a witness. And they, without me knowing until afterwards, arrested her on the spot. She had been charged with battery and then forced into a psychiatric ward for mental health monitoring. The police then allowed me to fill out a protection order or restraining order against her, giving me the grounds to forcefully evict her from the apartment complex and notify her employer of what happened, leading her to get fired the next day. She is the only person who I can safely say is dead to me, and if you ever read this, Brooke, I hope you burn in heck. If I can offer a word of advice from your good old buddy rSlash, don't stick it in the crazy, and don't let the crazy stick it in you either. That was rSlash Prorevenge, and if anyone has any leads on that original audio tape of the guy saying all that sexist stuff, please get in touch with me because I would love to get my hands on that footage.